Hey, yo.
All right, we back. Human behavior, man. What's up, them humans this week?
People is peopling.
People is peopling.
Yeah.
Humans. Give me an example of like a weird human situation that you came across this week.
I ain't gonna say I'm about to say this morning, but
What happened?
You know, I saw somebody eating their food in a weird way. I just say what you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah, leave my boy alone, man.
All right, we good. No.
All right, but like just a scenario of something happening, you look like, wow, that was interesting. Why would that person do that?
I don't really have.
I got one.
Go ahead.
So literally yesterday, so I had to get a tire replaced on my car, and the guy called me. No, I'm on with the manufacturer, and the people say, okay, the guy's going to be there between 1 and 5. So I think somebody's going to call me, right? So because they said, well, someone will reach out. This was the day before yesterday. So let's say this is Monday. Monday, I'm on the line. They said, okay, somebody's going to call you. I'm like, great. Nobody calls, but they say somebody's going to be here between 1 and 5. So Tuesday morning, I call, and I'm on the line for 45 minutes until the manufacturer picks up. So just waiting. So he said, oh, well, somebody's going to be there between 1 and 5. I'm like, well, nobody called, so I was just calling to make sure. It's about 2 o'clock. So 4:45 hits, no one calls me. I call back the manufacturer, and again, another 30 minutes. I just knew it wouldn't be there by 5. So get on the phone with the people. They say, well, the guy is in touch with you, and he got a bunch of routes or whatever, and he's gonna come to you. He said he's gonna call you. I'm like, all right, cool. Y'all told me 1 to 5. By now it's 5:30. What's happening? The guy calls and he says, yo, bro. He didn't say yo, bro, but he says, I'm not going to be able to get to you. I'm not going to be able to get you taken care of until tomorrow. My question was to him, I said, you mean you can't get to me because like you can't fix my issue. You can't change my tire because you don't have the materials, or you're just not coming over today. He said, well, yeah, I can't make it over there because, you know, I'm the only Tesla tire person in the city of Atlanta. Okay. You coming through tomorrow? He said, yes. I'll be there. 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, 8? He said, yes. Nobody's there. I call him back at 8:50 something. He says, y'all, I'm going to be there by noon. Now, I'm frustrated. So I'm talking to him like, yo, bro, I'm not upset at you, but I need you to respect my time.
You are upset at him.
I'm upset at him.
But you don't want to say it that way. But
I'm not going to say it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I need you to respect me. If you tell me 8 o'clock, don't let me call you at 9 and then you say I'm going to be there at 12. I'm like, yo, what's better is just text me and say before the 8 o'clock, because it's 7:30, you knew you weren't coming.
Facts.
You can say, I'll be there at 12. I'm cool with that. And I'm explaining all of this stuff to him. And he said, all right, cool, no problem, bro, got you. So 11:40 he shows up before the 12. My man, I like how you're doing business. He gets there, says, I can plug the tire, but I can't replace the tire. Why not? Because I don't have the tire. Did they tell you were replacing a tire today? Yes. Why don't you have it? He was like, yo, you could just plug it today. He called and said, yo, you could just plug it. You could just plug the tire. I was like, well, I don't want to plug the tire. I want to replace the tire. That's what I told him I wanted to do. Moral of the story, that was a human interaction that I did not enjoy. And then he's like, all right, I can plug it, but I can't fix it until tomorrow. I'm like, so what are you going to do? He said, I'll come back and fix it, change it tomorrow. I said, no, I need you to plug the tire today so I can drive it. And then you'll replace the tire, but you're not charging me for both. I didn't say it as aggressively, but that's exactly what happened.
So what about that interaction in particular, like, got you upset or, you know, sort of upset you?
What got me upset is the fact that I take it as you don't respect my time at all. So from my perspective, now I was here already. I wasn't like waiting per se. I had stuff to do from 1 to 5 anyway, so I'm going to be here. But the fact that you didn't come and didn't tell me upsets me. And I don't feel like you're taking advantage of me. You just don't care about my situation. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. How would you have handled it?
I would have handled it differently, right? Like if I'm calling you about the tire, and we agree that this is what's going to happen, I'm going to hold you accountable based on what you said you were going to do. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to. So if you said you was going to be there, you're not going to be there. So now how do we resolve this problem? Because I called you to fix one problem and you just created another one. So now in my mind, you got two things to fix. You got to fix the actual issue with the tire, and then you have to fix the customer service. So having that conversation, I need to speak to a manager. I need some sort of justification, something that makes me feel in good faith about continuing to have some level of relationship with you, because that would sour the relationship for me in a way. That would put like a tarnish on it.
You know what else I didn't like?
What?
He told me probably 3 times since yesterday that he's the only person that does the mobile tire service for Tesla in Atlanta.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. What's the problem?
He's not replaceable, so he does what he wants.
That's not the problem. You know what the problem is? What? The problem is he doesn't care enough about my time to tell me that he's not going to make it on time. Look at the track record. 1 to 5, you're going to be here. I talk to you at 6, you tell me I can't make it. He says, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. I call at 9, he says I'll be there at 12. It's not the fact that he's busy.
No.
That's not the problem.
I'm saying that, okay, let's say he's not the best person for that job. He's also not motivated to be better because there's not anybody else that's doing it. I'm not saying he's too busy. I'm saying that he truly doesn't care, and he doesn't have to.
And just understanding things in totality, like we don't really know that he doesn't care, but we need to figure out why he's showing up this way. Because, I mean, what you do in your time, what you do in your space, that's cool. But when it starts to, affect other people, now we have to look at being accountable and responsible for how we show up and the impact it has on other people. So you are a person, and I'm not saying just you, but you're a type of individual that cares about, time on task and being responsible around that stuff and holding space a certain type of way. Somebody else might be like, all right, man, it's cool, it's whatever. Like, when's the next time you can come to fix it? But it's easy for us to, try to like diagnose or prescribe or judge him without knowing what type of person he is. If we understood what type of person he was, then we would be looking at this from a completely different perspective. Not saying that the impact of his actions goes away, but we would have some context on intent. Yeah, like we would understand at least the place he was coming from.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand the place he's coming from, which I get it. I mean, that's why I'm not like mad.
You're like annoyed.
Yeah, and for the sake of the conversation, we can talk about it, right? But I think as we're talking about like people's behaviors, we got to understand where that comes from. Is his mind thinking, I work these hours, I don't really care what happens in these hours, but these are the hours that I work? Or is he thinking, I'm the only one you got, so you got to wait on me? Who else you gonna call?
Or it might just be you're dealing with him in this time period and something else is happening that's throwing off the way that he might be a really great, worker, and he's just having a rough patch right now. You happen to, like,
give me a real life hypothetical example. Give me a possibility of there's background stuff that's affecting the way he moves, causing him to operate this way.
Right. So let's say that let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is a person who is punctual, a person who's reliable, a person who operates with integrity, meaning he does what he says he's going to do. Mm-hmm. And he has a long-standing track record for performing this way. And it just so happens that, you know, he might be taking care of a sick relative and he's, you know, sort of burnt out. He's spreading himself thin, you know, running over here, getting, you know, supplies, food, whatever. He's staying up late, whatever the case may be. And it's throwing him off to where he's not organized. He's not punctual in the way that he usually is. He's not being consistent with his word. And it's affecting business. It's affecting how people view him. It's probably affecting how he views himself. He's probably beating himself up. That's the type of thing that may throw something off. So we can look at something in isolation over here, but anything that is happening somewhere else. We just need to have the full perspective to be able to assess things fairly.
Gotcha. And maybe it's like he has a higher order of importance and he's taking care of some things that are really, really important to him. But my emergency is not his emergency.
Mm-hmm. Here's something that's related to this conversation, but something that I've sort of been working on with myself. Intent doesn't negate impact.
Intent doesn't negate impact.
Right? So I could have the best intentions. I could not mean to do something and still do something that negatively affects a person.
That's a fact.
Like I don't know. My mother would say things like, you know, the road to hell was paved with good intentions or something like that, right? Like you could mean well and still do wrong.
Yeah.
You can still mean well and not handle somebody properly.
Yeah.
So I think the first step, the foundational step, is to approach things with the best intentions, but also make sure that you have enough understanding of what that person wants and needs and how to engage that person where you can give them exactly what they need in the way they need it, and you're not offending or doing wrong by anybody. Because at the end of the day, the results are the results.
Yeah.
You can't argue with what happened. The way you feel about something or what you meant to do is cool, but what actually occurred never gets erased off the record.
Yeah, that's a fact. You can't cut somebody and say, I'm sorry, the wound is still there.
I'm bleeding.
His joint still hurts. Man, I understand you're sorry, but I'm still hurt. Were you about to say something?
I was about to ask you, so if that was the case, like if he had a lot of stuff going on, XYZ, how does that affect your level of frustration? If you knew that.
I'm more sympathetic or empathetic, one of those. I'm more understanding. So this actually happened. It was a young lady that worked for me, and she just wasn't getting done what she was supposed to get done. So I'm frustrated for like a while, and I'm upset. I'm like, yo, okay, I just can't use you anymore because this isn't. Because I'm frustrated. You know, I say we're gonna have a meeting, and again, it's something inside of me that time is important for me. Like I hate a couple minutes late, and I just don't like it.
Yeah. So
I'm super frustrated with her, and then on her exit, like she's kind of helping like transition my new person in that role. She says to me, she said, man, I am sorry. She's like, yo, I have not been the same since this family member passed. And she's like, yo, it's not only you, but it's some like other clients that I just haven't been myself. I've been dropping the ball. And she's like, yo, I'm about to get out of this industry altogether because I need time to heal and just get away. She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do about like finances and money and stuff like that, but I really have to get myself together. Had she said that like 2 months prior, I wouldn't be as frustrated. I'd be more understanding. I say, she's dealing with some stuff. I need to get it done, but the thing that needs to get done is not as important as this person sitting in front of me. And I understand she doesn't know how to navigate this space. Like I'm still messed up from Well, my mom passed, and I have no idea. I know some stuff about me in terms of interacting with other people. It's if you take it on the surface, it's like, yo, Dave is being funny acting. But it's just, and I can't even like put my finger on it, but I'm affected. I haven't been the same since my mom passed. So in that scenario, if I know what's going on, that's why I'm looking to be more open and more transparent, because when people understand what's going on, they're more lenient, even if it affects them negatively.
I think that's why these conversations are important.
Yeah.
Right? Because most people, the reality is we look at things at face value. We take things at face value. And we could see a scar or something and, somebody being hurt externally, but we don't pay attention to or don't know about the internal scars, what somebody's struggling with or what they healed from and how it impacts them moving forward. Certain things we go through, it's like, oh, okay, I'm back to myself. I just was in a funk. Other things, you get scarred and you're not going to be the same. It's like foundationally shifts something in you, right? And we don't have conversations like that. I think, our community is, some of that stuff is taboo. We just don't talk about. Yep. But these conversations are important because life is always happening around us and it's not going anywhere.
Facts.
And I feel like having these conversations creates understanding, and the understanding creates compassion, because we're all human and we all go through things, and we can understand what it's like being human. We know what it is to be on, and we know what it is to be off.
Yeah.
And when I know that you're off, I can't judge you, or I can't receive you the same way.
Yeah.
Right? Even when I'm like, yo, I want to do my best, I have to tell myself my best looks different when I'm in a good mood, when I'm in a bad mood, when I'm in good health or when I'm in bad health. My best looks different from day to day.
Yeah, for sure.
And as long as I know that I'm giving my best, I can sort of rest. Now there's, again, the impact is there, but like I can go, okay, let me look to be better tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just exposing the issue kind of gives people an opportunity for a little leniency. If Kanye, he said some things that offended a lot of people, right? Well, and again, I don't have a dog in a fight. I don't really care. You know what I mean? It's not like my thing
Right,
like that. But one thing I do know is if he checked himself into like a mental hospital, the whole world will say, poor Kanye. Yo, we're standing with you, Kanye. He was dealing with something that he had no control over. So even the people that he offended can say, oh, well, he was mentally, and I'm not saying he's mentally ill. I'm just saying people would say, oh, well, he's mentally ill, right? The bully, everybody hates the bully at school until you find out that bully, that sixth grader, goes home and his parents beat on him. So he comes to school and beats on other people. Mm-hmm. That's the pattern. We're no longer looking at the bully as, oh, it's just this bully. You shouldn't be a bully. Nobody likes the bully until you find out where this is coming from. And now we're like, okay, the kid needs help. This is how it's expressing itself.
Yeah, this how's manifesting.
Can't fight back at home, fights back at school.
That's what I think is so like powerful about the assessment, because there's a story attached to a person's assessment. Mm-hmm. Like the data, this is objective data. The data is what it is, but there's a story. There's a reason why you're built this way. There's a reason why you're wired this way. Yeah. And once we start to unpack that stuff, it's like, oh, okay, it's transformational at that point.
For sure.
Because I may not have experienced the same thing, but I have my own version of it. And I can empathize with you from that perspective. Yeah. And so I don't look at it like, well, Dave, you're doing this thing to me. I look at it like, oh, you're responding to, this traumatic experience, or this is your coping mechanism, or this is how you feel safe, or this is how you respond, when you're feeling low, right? Like, because we all go through it.
Yeah.
And what we need in that moment when we're going through it is for somebody to just understand and give us whatever we need to get through to the next moment.
Absolutely. Well, we have an speaking of an assessment, we've got one here.
We do.
And we got Ryan in the hot seat. What's up, man?
Nothing much, bro.
Everything good? So I know Dewane is going over your assessment. I've gone over your assessment, but since then you've probably had some other things that you've dealt with or trying to understand. I know I'm the same assessment, but I would still need clarity on why what's happening in my life is happening, and we can revert it back to all the information we told this assessment, and it just shoots out. So it's like a constant, I need to take a deeper look at myself. And this is yourself in 3 pages. So give us one of your major struggles. And we got the goat in the building. And do me a favor. Can you turn Dewane's camera a little bit when he gets to that particular screen? Yeah, go for it.
Struggles that I'm currently dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Anything you need some assistance with or help with?
Man.
That you feel comfortable talking about?
That you feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah, I think everything that I'm having issues with, I'm currently trying to work on. But one of the things that I would say, like, given the example that you gave about the guy that, was supposed to come and do the tire, I make an effort to have a balanced, like, non-emotional, like, I don't want to be tied to or caring about how somebody is or might be wasting my time. Mm-hmm. I just if they're going through something and that can't make it, like when Dewane was like, well, he might be going through some stuff, I feel like communication trumps a lot of stuff. Like, if you're having an issue in this place, communicate. Yo, I know I'm supposed to be there at 8. Ain't gonna make it. Mm-hmm. And then if put in that position, I probably have to find out if the Tesla dude in Alabama could come through. Because I just think that communication is important. Since I took the disc last year, I've been like working on my people skills the whole time. I ain't there yet.
Yeah. So what exactly like what aspect of people skills, like what is the one area, if you could be more specific?
So there's 2 things I specifically have been like working on.
Yep.
One thing is, like, you see how low my eye is?
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried to be more open and networky when I'm in those situations, especially when I'm at work, because, like, y'all have seen me when I'm working, I'm pretty focused. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm pretty focused, and it was something I used to do with my team. Like, when someone would do something that I didn't quite understand, they'd feel this energy from me. You know what I'm saying?
This intensity.
Yeah. And so I've changed that. I've tried to change that energy from a, yo, what the heck, to a, it's cool, we'll get through it type of energy. Mm. Yeah. The other thing is I love to teach. And I could be teachy or preachy when ain't nobody ask me to teach them. And so I've been working. It's been hard, but I've been trying to work on establishing context and then listening and then responding or teaching if it's necessary. Because sometimes I waste a lot of words, like jumping to a conclusion. Like I know what the problem is because I'm a problem solver. So I know what the issue is, and then like out of respect for me, they let me talk for 15 minutes. And it's like,
so what I heard.
And for those that are listening, his disc numbers are 56 D, adapting down a little bit, 49, I 39, adapting all the way down to a 10. The S is a 53, adapting down to a 32, and C stays pretty consistent, 88, 81.
Yeah, so what I heard was how we handle, right, making a shift in how we handle hiccups, right, how we approach that, how we work through it together. And then the second thing is boundaries and space, right, with the being teachy and preachy. Now, everybody, right, because there's some people that may not receive you that way, but there are people that may receive you that way. And I think one of the things that we do is we hear people's feedback, or what people say about us, and some of that stuff sticks, and then we start running it, and we can get self-conscious about it. But I think it is important for us to always be aware of how we're showing up and how we affect and impact other people. So in those settings, again, I think it's admirable that you're making an effort to be a better human and a better leader. But there are like slight quick fixes, at least from where I stand. One, you wanting to help somebody or want to teach somebody is not a problem. But I think asking permission.
Exactly.
Like, hey, can I offer you something? Yes, no. I might not be in the space. Like, no, you're not. I might be like, no, we don't really got nothing to talk about, right? Like, or like, yeah, like, what's up? I just want to, I'm not trying to tell you, like, I just want to offer this suggestion or this recommendation. And then you drop gems or you teach. Then it doesn't look like you're trying to force or project on anybody.
For sure.
And that one shift in how you approach it may make a person feel like, wow, okay. Especially if they know you to be a particular way, and now they're seeing you change how you communicate.
Yeah.
With like, hey, we're gonna get through this together. That would signal to a person like, hey, he's committed to still rocking with me even though I made a mistake. Because there are leaders, at least I've seen leaders who, when somebody makes a mistake, they Indian give. Like, nope, I'm gonna take that back. You can't do this no more. I'm over here with it. Or they just abandon the person altogether. Like, bro, I can't fool with you no more. But the fact that you're saying, hey, we're gonna work through this together. Like, I might need a moment, but we're gonna get through this together. It's reassuring to a person.
But I guess now the question is, how often are we going to get through this together? How many times do we get through this together?
That's
before
fair. That's fair.
You stop putting me through this. Because now it's like, that's like the person that always start a fight, they piss off the wrong person, and now it's 4 of them and 2 of y'all. You're like, all right, we're going to get through this together.
What you mean we?
Next weekend, you done talk to the wrong person, girl. You like, all right, we're gonna get through this thing, and you keep getting me beat up. Like, what's up with you? Eventually, when do you say, all right, bro?
So I learned something interesting about I don't know what it is, but to me, it's like helping my team or helping people around me to be accountable. And like part of like one of my team members being accountable is me actually giving them the resources to be accountable. So when I first like hired my first employee, I wasn't super organized in terms of like giving them work to do and stuff like that. And I would give them stuff on a daily basis and try and train them, but there wasn't a whole lot of structure there. And I started to feel them slipping, like their performance started to feel like it was falling off. but I wasn't clear on whether that was because of me or because of them. And so it was hard for me to like be like, yo, you need to step it up, because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do in terms of providing clear structure, like an environment for them to perform and be clear on what they're supposed to do every day. And since then, we have a structure.
Right.
And so my team knows, everybody on my team knows that if I didn't train you on it and I asked you to do it and you don't do the best job, there's no consequences.
Yeah.
But when we find out, okay, that's the thing that we need to do training on, we need to create training for that, and you get trained on it and you don't perform, we're going to find out, we're going to walk through it and find out what happened. Was there a lapse or a problem within the training, or was that a decision that you made not to like do it? If that was a decision that you made, because everybody that we hire, everybody that we work on the team, the interview process is to find out they're a good person
first.
Yeah. So if your values, if there's an issue like with the value system, we miss something, then it's not the best place for you.
Got it. Yeah.
I think that's an important lesson as a leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, reminds me of like reading Extreme Ownership, right? Everything is your fault as a leader.
100%.
If anything is not happening the way it's supposed to, if people are not performing the way they need to, it's your fault.
Yeah. One of my guys it was interesting enough. We was on a call. I'm sure Reese, I don't know if Reese remembers it, but my man Mark, I have a habit of that. Like, I'm gonna say, all right, well, I know there's if some ball was dropped, it's something that I didn't do right. Right. So there was like some balls dropping. I'm like, oh well, the reason they dropped the ball is because I didn't have some standard operating procedures in place. So I put together the SOPs down to which letter in the title gets capitalized, where the space is, where's the dash, where, like everything. I put everything in it. And then something else was amiss. But I realized it was amiss because there was a detail in that SOP that I left out. So now we're just continuing to refine. But my man was on the line because I'm always going to say, you know what, that was my fault. And the way he took it was, I don't know if he would have to have been taking it this way because he asked the question this way. He said, you know, when you say that, it really makes me feel like you're saying it's your fault for having this person in the position to do the job.
It is in some instances.
Yeah, but I had to work on how I said it because that wasn't my intention, saying, you know what, dang, you didn't have what you need. Okay, you know what, that's my fault. I should have done this.
Yeah, how you communicate it is important.
100%.
So are you saying that they were like, when you say that's my fault, you're saying that, oh, dang, that's my bad for picking you to do this type of thing?
Now, I'm saying it in the fact that I'll own a part of the ball being dropped here.
As a leader,
but the way they received it was, are you saying it's your fault? Because you always say it's your fault when I do something wrong. I feel like you're saying it's your fault for me being the person in this position because I'm just not going to get it right. You know what I mean?
When what it really is it's my fault because I didn't prepare you to be able to do this
exactly
the way that you needed to be, that it needed to be done.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. So messaging is important.
Yeah, 100%.
Messaging is important. As a leader, when it's time to do performance evaluations, if all of your people are not exceeding expectation, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. A high D. So you're 56 on a D, right? So your actions are, you got to chill out, Reese.
We're going to pause.
You got to, he's
responsible. He's a responsible
for sure. And I've seen Ryan go at, like, if there's a problem, go solve it. It doesn't take as much time as I need to kind of assess before I kind of jump in. But what I like about, I'll say in my style of communication, I'm thinking through how I should attack it, and because I have a high I, I'm trying to protect the person's feelings. The fact that my high I says I want to protect the person's feelings, every single time a person messes up, I take ownership to protect the person's feelings. But over time, it looks like that person could feel like they're the wrong person.
Or it could feel inauthentic.
Because I'm always trying to just take, like, so
it's a response that feels good to people, but
not overused.
Yeah, because it's like at some point, it's like you're just, there's never a point where you're actually saying, hey, that's your bad.
Right. And I think some people want to take accountability, but I'm taking the accountability away from you. Isn't that interesting?
I think it has to do. I think it has to do with culture sometimes too, right? So the culture you create as the leader permeates through the organization or the team. So in some cultures, the buck stops with me as the leader. Like, I'm gonna take all accountability for everything because I'm the one, leading the charge. Yeah. And in other cultures, it's like, yo, everybody is gonna take accountability. This is, no big me's, no little u's. Like, we all are gonna, carry our weight. So I think one, I would look at what kind of culture you're creating, what kind of leader you are, right? And you being the type of leader who is, people first, experience kind of first. I can understand why you lead from that perspective. Where for me, I'll have all the conversation with you. I get it. But at the end of the day, this needs to get done.
100%.
So however we need to figure out, this still needs to happen. So
yeah, that's why I'm sorry. That's why, like, in our assessment, we got to find out the root problem, because it won't just say because I'm relational that everyone's going to love me and I'm going to love everybody, because sometimes I can be so relational that it turns people off.
Yep.
Or I want to, as a leader, I want to help you out with something that you're struggling with. And I feel like I'm being nice by like jumping in there and like helping fix the problem, but I rob you of the ability to fix it. Or you're like a 56, right? So your objective is to, let's make sure this thing is right. But in the communication, the person may feel you're attacking them and not the thing. So you got to be careful.
It could also be disarming, right? Because if I'm used to being punished for this, or I'm used to having a negative consequence for this, and you say, hey, it's just my fault, then I'm like,
something's off.
Wait, this is too good to be true. What's that? Like, what's happening here? Now I start to get anxious. I'm like, it's okay. Like, that'll throw somebody off, and really, like, if they're not used to that.
Yeah, like people that are used to toxic relationships, and you meet somebody,
and it's too good to be true. Talking
to my homegirl, right? She's been in just mad toxic relationships. She said, so like, this one is really, really good. She was like, yo, so I had to go through his phone to find out what the issue. Like, there's no way he's this perfect.
That's a trauma response.
So I said, hold on, just go through his phone. She's like, yeah, I'm toxic a little bit.
That's nasty work.
But it was cool. She was like, yo, there's got to be some sort of catch, and I'm going to find it. If it's not in my face, where the person openly disrespects me, or the person isn't handling me in a weird way, or if I can't find it, like he's extra flirty. If I see that, I know how to handle it. I just attack that thing. Like, okay, you flirting a little too hard, or you talking to your ex. I get it. That's the comfort zone for some people. So when they don't have it, they try extra hard to go find it.
They're waiting for the other, like,
not even waiting. Like, I'm going to find it.
No, because waiting for the other shoe to drop creates anxiety, because it's like, I don't know when things are gonna hit the fan. I'm gonna go find the fan, and oh, okay, this is where it is. Cool.
Yeah, I feel if I know where the enemy is, I'm good. I'd rather you live across the street from me than I don't know where you at. You just come to my house one day. I'd rather just be able to keep my eye on you.
Exactly.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say a couple things. So at my 9 to 5 that I quit, the first like year and a half, I thought I was gonna get fired.
You went to work every day thinking you was gonna get fired,
right? Like afraid, because when they brought me in, so I interviewed, I asked them all the questions I wanted to ask them. One thing that they assured me was that like you'll be given all the resources you need to be able to do your job effectively, because that was important to me. And I started working there. They didn't really have a good train. They didn't have a lot of structure. They didn't have a training program. I was just coming in every day, you know, helping do whatever I could see needed done, and then like being on my computer every day, like year and a half. And I was like, for sure, I'm gonna lose my job. It was like I remember talking to the manager about, you know, it was like, look, man, I don't know what to do, and I know I'm not contributing. I'm concerned, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, I promise you, like, you're fine, Ryan. You're not going to lose your job. You're doing a great job here. That didn't mean nothing to me. It felt like it made me even more skeptical. Right. I was like, y'all trying to get me out of here.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a real thing.
And for sure, 100%.
And then in my experience with my team, with my employees, they, you know, in passing, like previous employees have been like made like little comments, yeah, because I don't want to lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it has been because there was an environment where I took the blame for everything. It's like, you know, it's cool, but I was just trying to provide a healthy environment for my team. But because they weren't clear on how to self-evaluate, they were always worried. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting, just me being wired the way I am, I couldn't function in a space where there's an elephant in the room and we're not dealing with it.
Oh, wow. I'm not dealing with it.
No, I have to. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable not to address the elephant in the room. I have to address it directly. So something like that, like the fact that you go into work every day not knowing, and the fact that they're reassuring you and you still don't believe it.
Yeah, it's like everybody, because it was like I knew that I was not contributing.
You didn't feel like you were contributing, but maybe you were contributing based on, you know, what their standards, their infrastructure called for.
I wasn't. They didn't have any standards. They just...
Yeah, but you're a super structured person. So to you, that ain't nothing. But for them,
yeah,
that might, hey, listen.
Yeah. So one thing that I did, I took this course called Business Made Simple. And in a course, they taught about like the mission statement and all these other things or whatever. But two things that I really love is like your company's characteristics and your critical actions. Because the characteristics are like the values in a person. So our characteristics are that we're driven, profit-minded, and we're organized. So anything that we do, anybody we do business with, and anybody that we hire needs to kind of have those characteristics. Yeah. And then the critical actions are... listening to the customer, creating content, and organizing. Yeah. So if you're done with your assignment and you need to know what to do next, one of those three things, you can't be out of bounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good conversation, man.
No, it is.
Needed. I want to jump into this real quick. I want to go into these real quick. Maybe I'll let you run over these because we don't really get a chance to jump into attributes too much. So you want to touch on these?
Yeah, I want to go over these. So
we may not have a lot of time to go over the whole thing. Maybe next episode we'll just go through like them all.
Yeah, we could.
But just kind of touch on. Let's see what the Ryan's.
So with Ryan, what I notice is he's very confident in his ability to make something happen, and he's very focused on what needs to happen right now. like in the now. It doesn't mean that he doesn't think about people, he doesn't care about people. It doesn't mean that he's not looking forward to what is, you know, sort of coming down the line, but he has the perspective of, I'm gonna take care of what's right in front of me, and then after we do this and we do it the right way, we can go to the next thing, and then we can go to the next thing and the next thing. And he's the type of individual that is handling things that way to alleviate potential problems or obstacles or frustrations from the space. Like he said, he's a problem solver. So that's his mentality. Not everybody has this information, so they're not looking at him that way. They're just taking him at face value and being like, he's been like Debbie Downer. He's a little too like strict, or he think he's my father or something, right? Like somebody might feel like you're being smothering, but really you're looking to move everybody in the environment forward through getting something done right now. So him having a low I is, he's not really having small talk. He doesn't want to have small talk. Somebody might read that as him being rude or not wanting to engage with people. And you're correcting me, and you're like, okay, what are we doing today?
You're trying to teach me and educate me. Like, we ain't built a rapport yet, bro.
Yeah, so depending on the person, that may rub them the wrong way. Pause. But like,
yo.
Yeah, you know, we're not, come on, man, what we doing here?
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but it's evident that he's, you know, he's confident in his ability to make it happen. He is just putting Ryan in the environment around the right people where he can thrive and be successful.
For sure. And we can see, so attributes, empathy is your ability to connect or feel.
Process people. Almost at a glance.
Yeah. Right?
So when you walk in a room, you can kind of instantaneously get the pulse of what's happening with the people in the room. You kind of can check the temperature, like, oh, okay. Yeah. This person's not, those two people are not really talking right now. This person feels uncomfortable. They're in the corner. He feels like the life of the party. Like, you kind of get a snapshot understanding of who everybody is in the space.
100%. And you're fairly high, not low. Empathy 7.4, meaning you can read people, see what's going on, tell when they're uncomfortable a little bit. Somebody that's like low, somebody had like a 4, like a 4.3 or something like that. Those are the people that are like socially awkward. They're just not getting the cue. You can't feel it. I don't want to talk to you right now. You ever had somebody talk, like they're going, and I'm talking about everybody in this conversation is like roasting you on the low, like, all right, bro, like, what's up with
I'm on my 7th. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And you didn't catch that I've been done with this conversation 12 minutes ago.
Bro.
They hit that sheesh.
And you look at those people and you think, yo, why do you not see that this conversation's over? Like, why do you not see that, like, you, like, yo, you're talking to me, it may be kind of loud, but I back up a little bit. You move closer. And now we're dancing around this room because I don't want, you're not
uncomfortable, dog.
You're not even picking up the cue. However, mine's like 9.8 or something like that. It's super dangerous.
So so interestingly enough about empathy, right? If a person has really high empathy, then you know that they have a good read on people. But a person, when it's low, they don't. So you can label somebody a jerk, like, oh, he's a jerk. He just treats me like, if I see that his empathy is really low, it's not that he doesn't care about people. His brain doesn't process, doesn't see people until later. Like, people are an afterthought. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but that's just the way they're wired. So you may take it personal, like he just asked me for what he asked me for. He didn't ask about my day. Like, yeah, because his practical thinking is his primary mode of processing. He's worried about what needs to get done right now. Yeah. He'll circle back and see what's up with you, but in the moment, at first glance, it may offend you.
Yeah.
So you can't really call that person a jerk or say they're being rude, because it's a blind spot for them.
Yeah.
But you, right? You just say, yeah, your empathy is a 9.8. So if you did something like that, then that would be an indication that you see the person, you know it's gonna be offensive, and you still chose to do it anyway.
I'm a jerk.
That it'd be like, Dave, why are you being petty?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Petty? Like,
Yeah.
and so we have to see how people are made and designed and built to be able to fairly assess who they are and how they show up in the space.
Yeah, I would be like, it's crazy, and it's so annoying sometimes, man, because like when I'm in a room, my spidey senses be tingling, bro, about what's going on. When we're recording, I can tell that there's somebody here that wishes we would wrap up. And it's distracting because I can feel that. And now I'm trying to hit that person's hot button. Like, and I'm trying to find out how I can engage that one person in this scenario, bro. And it's not
magic, actually. It's magic to have that level of awareness.
Yeah, but it helps when I'm doing an interview like with a bunch of people, because I can sense when someone hasn't talked in a while, or I can the person that's like answering every question. Now I have to direct, hey, Ryan, I want to hear your thoughts on this. And that's my way of shutting this other person up. Right? Hey, nobody help him. Nobody help him.
My boy,
I want to.
Hey, listen. but when you think about it, like if you look at Dave's assessment, it's very clear why he's excelled in this particular lane versus everything that you've tried in entrepreneurship to this point. Once you touched podcasting,
oh, for sure,
it was like automatic.
Yeah,
it was the most effortless thing you probably have ever done, but it's because you were designed to win at this game.
Yeah,
everybody is built a particular way, and there's a game that is tailor-made for you to excel at.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of finding that game.
So your number one, the way your brain processes, the first thing your brain sees, your highest number is practical thinking.
What do you need to do? What do we need to do right now?
And you see it crystal clear on how we fix this situation right now. What needs to be done right now? That's the first thing your mind is automatically going to. Like, if there's a traffic jam, my highest is empathy. I'm thinking, there's some people that probably got to go to work. Oh, I wonder if there's somebody that got to pee real bad.
Was there an accident?
Oh my gosh, are there kids here?
What is it?
Oh my gosh! Like, I mean, the
somebody
kids
get into an accident.
Yeah, right. Are the people okay?
You saw praying in the car, like
for all the people that I don't know. Oh my gosh, it might be, and this is where my mind goes. There might be a woman on her way to the hospital to deliver a baby, and look at all this traffic. That's where my mind goes.
I don't be thinking.
Ryan's mind says, yo, all we got to do, if that person moved to the side, you know what? I think we need to build another lane. We need a lane. This Atlanta traffic is crazy.
Ryan is the reason Atlanta got 6 lanes,
right?
And there's still traffic.
It was a riot up there. Like, yo, we need another lane now. Yo, let's get Ryan. Right, he might be liable. Step out of his car, try to go to the front. Okay, let's find out what's going on. Okay, you move to the right, and
Ryan
we just
got the little runway. He got the flag. He like directing people on the interstate.
Here's your blind spot according to systems judgment. You see, it's your lowest 6.7. Your blind spot is being able to see the whole picture. And I saw it when we started talking about like what we're doing with the space, and like, yo, Ryan, you got an eye for design and how something should look visually and shooting it. And I'm like, big picture stuff. Let's talk about how you can kind of just be a visual director of the streaming service in the main room and all that kind of stuff. You just kind of put it together. And Ryan's like, man, let's just take it step by step. Let's just see which one we could do. Like, and then they'll start talking about, you know what, these lights, we need to fix these lights.
Like, bro, listen.
These are the cameras that we need to shoot, right? So that's going to be your blind spot, which isn't a bad thing because that allows you to be focused. I deal with some people that are high systems judgment and they can't get their head out the clouds. They can't stop talking about vision. But I'm like, oh, but this is what we need. These are the next 2 steps. And they're like, all right, cool. We're going to do these steps because it's going to lead to this big thing. Like, no. Come on down.
Or they're worried about something.
Yep.
They're worried about the boogeyman that is 1,000 miles away from them. It's like, bro, he's not even worried about you. He's going to go kill 30 people before he gets to you. Right. Like, go that, right? So it's basically being able to see down the line, right? Long-term vision.
Yep, absolutely.
I experienced that when I did my first content creation boot camp, right? You don't know that. You never heard this before. So
exclusive.
So Brandon had linked us up and everything. We did the content creation boot camp, and I was getting ready to work on a recap. I had never done a recap before.
Oh wow!
And so like I'm at my cousin's house, like for hours, because Brandon shot me a text. He's like, "Bro, make sure you get him that recap by tomorrow." Like, bet. I'm at my cousin's house pacing, bro. So I'm like, I do not know how to start this video off.
I see. He's
I don't know
stressed.
Right. Dude, stressing, man. Brandon hit me up, was like, yo, bro, you done with that recap? Let me see it. It's like, bro, no, I need about, I'm gonna need like another 10 hours on this thing, bro. And he was like, what? And he was like, no, dude, just do this, this, and this. He gonna love it. I was like, oh. 30 minutes to an hour, done. Send it to Dave, fire emojis. I was like, oh. and then like throughout like me working in the industry, like I'd run into those instances where a client will be like, hey, I'm not really feeling this, and then it's like I would stress about the change that they wanted me to make. And so that became very problematic. And so like I see that there. And so now it's like I had a recent client, we did a recap for him, and they was like, we like it, but we don't love it. And so one way that I manage that piece now is like, okay, well, we can get on a Zoom call and you can walk me through what you love, and we can work it out that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think even like that's funny you say that. The biggest thing wasn't like how to do the video for you. The biggest issue was probably how to start. How do I set this up? Because I think once if you know how you're going to set it up, or kind of like, one, if you have a vision, it makes it easier. But like, what's the first clip that I start with?
It's
right?
a framework.
For sure. Yeah. But your mind is like, okay, how do there's a problem in front of me. I'm going to focus on this starting point. And once you get going, or Brandon kind of gives you vision, okay, just bang, bang, bang. Oh, no problem.
So I think this is one of the things, and I see it in my assessment too, because your practical thinking is so high, right? And Dave usually is helpful to me in this instance. Because your practical thinking is so high, not only are you solution oriented, but you see a bunch of different ways to solve the problem. And that causes analysis paralysis, because you go, whoa, I can approach this 10 different ways. In your mind, you like, we got 30 hours of footage. I don't know what to start with.
Because there's so many ways to start.
So me and Dave get on the phone. I might be talking like, yeah, this, but I kind of thought about that. They'd be like, well, why don't you just start with this? And I'm like, nah, but this. And he's like, just start here. And then, because once I get going, it's whatever. But like, and I have triple mastery, which is like all 3 of mine are equally high. So I process everything at the same time.
It sounds cool. Triple master,
but
it sounds desirable, bro. But,
right. There's like shout out to my sis Nikki. Nikki has this joke. She's like, yo, if processing was a person, it would be you. Like you always, like in real time, people are talking to you. You look like you watching what's happening around. That's just how my brain works, right? But when your practical thinking is that high, you really need to just pick something and go with it, and then pivot if you need to, because you'll freeze. You'll get stuck trying to figure out what the entry point is.
So one process. So you know we talked about the space and everything, right? So I've got a process right now. It's getting faster, but I got a process that I use to help me to get to that big picture thing. And I think the practical thinking part, like you mentioned it, the issue is like there's a thousand ways to do something, but there's also 1,000 reasons. And it's like, I need to know that reason for clarity.
Yeah.
And so now, because people that I work with or deal with don't always know that reason, I've got a process to help me get to that on my, like, help them help me get to that reason. And then at that point, I'm clear.
Yeah.
I love people's idiosyncrasies. Like, I love the nuances and the things that make people tick. And like, I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because it's like such a riot thing. Like, if you know him,
Right.
it's such a riot thing. Because I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't care about what reasons they may know or don't know. This is what we doing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But everybody has their own unique mix and rhyme and reason for things. And
Yeah, man. Look, y'all, we got to get out of here. I think we're going to put a link to an assessment. They can just take this. You're not going to be able to take all 3 parts. You're not going to get your attrements, but
somewhere around here.
Yeah, we'll throw you the disc in there. We'll put an email or something or something, some way you can get access to all of it. Yeah, there's a link in there. And we got a course.
Yep.
We got a course that allows you to not only take the assessments, but also teach you how to read your own. Like every aspect of this, you can like literally go in and say, read my assessment. Oh, this is why I do that. Oh, husband, take this. And then you'll be like Geppetto. You'll be pulling strings because you know their values, how they think, things of that nature.
Use your powers for good, though. Use your powers for good and not even. Don't Professor X nobody.
Right. Man, don't be out here single giving all your dates an assessment. And then you start hitting their hot buttons.
We're not supposed to do that? We're not. Hold on.
No, bro.
I'll just play it.
Happy or falling in love with you. Oh, my gosh, he just gets me. I know. Yes, I do. Yo, man, like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Dewane, how can they get in touch with you, my brother?
I'm Dewane Mutunga on everything. I'm going to spell it because, my name is a little awkward, but DeWaneMutunga on everything, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the things.
Yep. Follow your boy, man. Sleep is for suckers. Follow YouTube channel, Social Proof. Well, follow this YouTube channel. But if you happen to, I'm all things Social Proof. Sleep is for suckers on Instagram. Share this with a friend, all right? We out. Peace.
Uno.